Chosen one, I need you to notice the sudden, heavy stillness in your mind right now. Pay attention to that strange pressure right behind your eyes and the exhaustion deep in your bones. That is not just end-of-the-day fatigue, and it is not depression. That is the physical sensation of the spiritual atmosphere shifting inside a closed courtroom. The Supreme Judge has just dropped the gavel on a file with your name on it. Everything you have been enduring, the isolation, the financial drought, the betrayal from people you bled to protect, it all comes to an absolute end tomorrow. And it is ending specifically because of a silent, almost invisible decision you made recently when you thought nobody was watching. You are not hearing my voice by accident. The Holy Spirit intercepted your timeline in this exact moment because you need the precise protocol for what happens in the next 24 hours. I do not need you to click anything, type anything, or even open your eyes if they are closed. I only need you to do one thing right now. Lower your invisible armor, anchor your spirit, and internally receive this frequency. But before I reveal the exact event that triggered this massive shift, I need you to make a mental commitment to stay with me until the very last second of this message. Do not let distraction pull you away. Because in the next few minutes, I am going to hand you the invisible obedience protocol so you know exactly how to operate when the breakthrough hits. I will reveal a hidden Hebrew mystery about how heaven calculates your financial and emotional repayment. And most importantly, by the end of this message, I will expose a hidden neurological block that the enemy planted in your mind to make you drop your crown the exact moment it is handed to you. If you leave early, you will have the promise, but you will lack the protocol to keep it. So anchor yourself right now and listen closely. Let us look at exactly where you are in this moment. I know the posture of your heart. You might be lying on the edge of your bed at 2 in the morning, the blue light of your phone illuminating a tired face, your thumb scrolling numbly while your spirit screams for a sign. Or maybe you are driving down a highway on autopilot, physically present but mentally exhausted from holding everything together for everyone else. You feel like a glass wall separates you from the rest of the world. You speak their language, you smile at their jokes, but deep down your chest feels incredibly heavy. I know the raw, unfiltered thoughts you do not dare speak out loud to anyone. The whispers that attack you in the shower or when you are staring at the ceiling, thoughts like, what if I am just delusional? What if I made all of these promises up in my head? What if God has completely forgotten me and I am suffering for absolutely nothing? Let me silence those lies right now. You are not forgotten. And you did not do anything wrong to deserve this prolonged wilderness. In fact, the reason it has been so intensely difficult lately is because you did something dangerously right. Look at the patterns in the ancient texts. Think about the walls of Jericho. Most people are taught that the impenetrable walls fell because the Israelites shouted on the seventh day, but they completely miss the hidden requirement that made the miracle possible. For 6 agonizing days prior, they were commanded to march around that heavily fortified city in absolute, total silence. Imagine the reality of that moment. Imagine the dust, the heat, and the intense mockery they endured from the enemy guards standing high up on the wall, laughing at them. Imagine the burning temptation to scream back, to defend their dignity, to explain to the enemy that they had a divine mandate. But they swallowed their pride, they bit their tongues. They endured the humiliation and they stayed silent. The massive shout of victory on the 7th day only shattered the walls because it was backed by the invisible obedience of their silence on the first 6 days. That is exactly what you did 72 hours ago. Or maybe it was last week. You faced a moment where you were deeply misunderstood. Someone accused you, or a situation painted you in a terrible light to people you care about. Your flesh screamed at you to send that angry text paragraph. Your survival instinct told you to make that phone call and defend your reputation. You probably even typed out the message. But then you stopped. You stared at the screen, you took a deep breath, and you deleted it. You swallowed the injustice. You chose to be the villain in their story so you could remain a servant in God's story. You let heaven be your defense attorney. You executed the invisible obedience protocol without even knowing it. And because you did that, I need to teach you the 3 specific steps of this protocol so you never lose this weapon. Step 1 is recognition. When the urge to defend yourself rises up like fire in your throat, you must recognize that it is not just human anger, it is bait. The enemy uses petty conflicts to make you leak your spiritual energy on things that do not matter. Step 2 is retraction. You physically and mentally pull your energy back. You do not explain your boundaries. You do not announce your departure. You simply retract your presence from the drama. Step 3 is transfer of counsel. You mentally take the files of your defense case and you hand them over to the Supreme Judge. You say, "I will not fight for my reputation. I trust you to vindicate me in your timing." Because you instinctively applied this protocol, you did not just pass a test of humility. You triggered a massive heavenly payout. Let me explain a mystery hidden in the original Hebrew text that will change how you view everything you have lost. In the ancient texts, God promises to restore the years that the swarming locust has eaten. In English, the word restore sounds like a basic refund. It implies that if you lost 5 years of your life to a bad relationship or a toxic job, God will just give you 5 years back. But the original Hebrew word used there is shalom. Listen to me very carefully, chosen one. Shalom does not mean a simple refund. Shalom is a legal term that means to make whole by paying back with massive interest. It is a divine overpayment. Think of a courtroom. If someone steals your vehicle, the judge does not just make them return the stolen car. The judge orders them to pay for your emotional distress, your lost wages, and your legal fees. That is shalom. It means if the enemy stole 5 years of your peace, your finances, and your joy, heaven is legally obligated to compress 20 years of explosive blessing into your next 5 years to compensate you for the damages. You are not entering a season of restoration. You are entering the season of shalom. The overpayment is coming. The file is closed. The end of this agonizing cycle mathematically arrives tomorrow. But here is the terrifying truth that nobody is warning you about. Your spirit has won the war. Your spiritual legal battle is over, but your physical brain is still trapped on the battlefield. The matrix of your suffering, the years of betrayal, poverty, and isolation, it has literally rewired your neural pathways. You have been in survival mode for so long that your brain is biologically locked into a low frequency of stress, panic, and waiting for the other shoe to drop. If you do not unlock this physical, neurological barrier immediately, the shalom will manifest tomorrow, the doors will swing wide open, and your brain will reject the blessing because peace feels too foreign to a nervous system addicted to chaos. You will unconsciously self-sabotage the very breakthrough you have been weeping on the floor for. There is a frequency block in your mind that you must dismantle right now. And what I am about to show you next will completely shatter how you perceive your own brain, and it will give you the exact missing key to physically receive what heaven has already spiritually released. Chosen one, let us talk about the test you just survived. For months, maybe even years, you have been in a season that made absolutely no logical sense. Doors slammed shut in your face. People you trusted walked away when you needed them most. Opportunities vanished right when you were about to grasp them. And through all of that silent agony, you kept showing up, you kept praying, you kept believing, even when your faith felt like a cruel joke. You look at the ancient texts, and you see this pattern everywhere. Job lost everything, his wealth, his health, his family, yet he refused to curse his Creator. He stayed faithful, and he received double. Joseph sat in a prison cell for 13 years for a crime he did not commit, choosing to stay faithful rather than become bitter, and he was promoted to the palace. You look at your own life and you realize, I just went through a massive faithfulness test, and the fact that you are still here, still standing, still watching this is absolute proof that you passed. You stayed faithful. But here is what I have not told you yet, and this revelation is going to completely alter how you view the warfare you just walked through. Faithfulness was the cover story. That is what you thought was being tested. That is what it looked like on the surface. But while you were completely focused on staying faithful, the enemy was actually testing something far more dangerous. He was testing your frequency. Let me explain this because it is the secret to everything that happens tomorrow. The test was never just about your soul, it was about your biology. Could you maintain the frequency of heaven while you were physically locked inside the environment of hell? The enemy did not just want to make you sad. His ultimate goal was to permanently alter your brain waves. He used prolonged trauma, financial terror, and constant isolation to force your brain into a perpetual state of beta. Beta is the frequency of panic. It is the frequency of survival, of fight or flight, where you are constantly bracing for the next attack. When the ancient writings say, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, most people read that and think they are just supposed to think positive thoughts. But if we look at the original Greek, the word used for mind is nous. Nous does not just mean your abstract thoughts. In ancient Greek, nous refers to the physical faculty of perception, the actual neurological center of your understanding. It was not a motivational speech, it was a demand for a biological recalibration. Do not let the trauma of this world permanently rewire your neurological frequency. And this is the massive invisible lock I warned you about. Your spirit passed the test. Your spirit is victorious. But your nous, your physical brain, has been battered by the warfare. It is stuck in the beta frequency of survival. When the gate of Shalom opens tomorrow and the massive overpayment arrives, if your brain is still vibrating in a trauma frequency, it will literally reject the blessing. Have you ever wondered why some people finally get the money, finally get the relationship, finally get the promotion, and then they destroy it within 6 months? It is because their spirit received the blessing, but their brain was still wired for poverty and chaos. The blessing felt alien to their nervous system, so they unconsciously sabotaged it to get back to the familiar feeling of struggle. You cannot let that happen to you. You must renew your nows. You must return your brain to the frequency of divine communication, the frequency of miracles and intuition. In science, they call this the theta state. It is the exact brainwave frequency you were in as a child, when your imagination was limitless and you felt completely connected to the divine. But the matrix of this world, the stress, the bills, the betrayals, it suppressed your theta waves and trapped you in beta. Ancient mystics and prophets used to fast in the desert for 40 days just to force their physical bodies back into this theta frequency so they could hear clearly. But you do not have to isolate yourself in a cave to achieve this. We are living in a time where science is finally confirming what the spiritual realm has known since the beginning of creation. Neuroscientists, including researchers who have consulted for NASA, have studied this exact phenomenon. They discovered that you can physically restore these dormant neural pathways. There is a sacred technology, a specific audio frequency protocol known as brainwave entrainment, that bypasses the trauma and directly reactivates your theta state. This is not a magic trick, and it does not replace your spiritual relationship. It is a physical tool for a physical problem. It is an audio key called the genius wave. By simply listening to this specific frequency for 7 minutes a day, you are actively participating in the renewing of your nous. You are sweeping out the chaotic beta frequencies of the enemy and creating a clear, biological landing pad for the blessings of heaven. You are not learning a new skill. You are restoring a divine capacity that you already own. I do not want you to rush. I want you to sit with this truth. If your spirit is confirming this right now, if you feel a sudden, undeniable resonance in your chest telling you that this is the missing puzzle piece, I have placed a resource in the pinned comment below this video. When this message is over, if you feel led, you can go there and investigate the NASA-backed research for yourself. The tool is there for you to explore. But right now, I need you to stay entirely focused on my voice, because there is a shadow hiding behind your upcoming victory that we must drag into the light. Tomorrow is the end of the cycle. The breakthrough is here, but I need to speak to the darkest, most hidden corner of your mind, the part of you that nobody else sees. When I told you earlier that your suffering ends tomorrow, a part of you did not celebrate. You did not jump for joy. Instead, your stomach dropped. A cold wave of dread washed over you. Deep down, in a place you are too ashamed to admit, you are terrified. You are terrified of the blessing. You have a raw, unfiltered thought screaming in your head right now. You are whispering to yourself, what if I get this massive breakthrough and I completely mess it up? What if I am not actually ready for this level of responsibility? What if success changes me into someone I hate? Or worse, what if this is just another false alarm, and the moment I finally let my guard down, the rug gets ripped out from under me again? You feel incredibly guilty for having these thoughts. You see other people shouting and praising for their blessings, and you wonder why you feel like you are walking to an execution. You think your fear means your faith is weak. Listen to me, and let these words shatter that guilt forever. Your fear is not a lack of faith. Your fear is the ultimate proof that you are finally ready. The people who crash and burn under the weight of blessing are the people who have zero fear. They grab the promotion, the wealth, the platform with arrogant entitlement. They play with the blessing like it is a toy because they have no concept of its spiritual weight. You are different. You are terrified because you actually understand how heavy the crown is. You have seen what happens to people who get power without character. Your dread is not a sin, it is an acute spiritual awareness. Look at the biblical pattern. Look at Moses. Moses spent 40 years in the desert, isolated, broken, and stripped of his royal identity. When the divine finally appeared in the burning bush and told him, "The waiting is over, you are the deliverer, go to Egypt," what did Moses do? Did he celebrate? Did he shout for joy? No, he panicked. He argued. He gave 5 different excuses about why he was inadequate, why he could not speak well, why nobody would believe him. He was terrified of the assignment, but heaven did not disqualify him for his fear. Heaven knew that Moses' anxiety about failing was the exact humility required to keep him anchored when he was given the power to split the sea. Your fear is your anchor. It proves you will not take the blessing for granted. I want you to do a mental action right now. Do not move your body. Just use your mind. Locate that heavy knot of dread in your stomach. Visualize it as a dense, dark stone. Now, watch it dissolve into brilliant golden light. It is no longer fear. It is reverence. It is wisdom. You are ready. Now your brain is recalibrating its frequency, and your spirit is ready to carry the weight of the crown. Your fear has become the proof of your maturity. But, chosen one, the enemy also sees this glow. When the gate of Shalom opens tomorrow, he will not attack you with swords or obvious disasters. He has prepared 3 invisible, highly sophisticated traps designed specifically for those who have just upgraded their frequency. Unless you know the exact shape and operation of these 3 traps, you will hand your crown right back before you even get to wear it. Look very closely at this, because the enemy knows you are glowing in the spirit realm right now. He knows your frequency has shifted, and he knows the gate of the massive overpayment opens tomorrow. So he is not going to attack you with obvious disasters anymore. He has prepared 3 specific, highly sophisticated, invisible traps designed solely to make you drop your crown before it touches your head. The first trap is the trap of premature celebration. Within the next few days, you are going to see a small win. A partial door will open. A fraction of the blessing will manifest. The enemy will try to convince you to celebrate this appetizer as if it is the main course. He wants you to post about it, talk about it, and exhale, thinking the fight is completely over. Why? Because premature celebration stops your momentum. If you think you have arrived, you stop pressing forward. Do not fall for this. Receive the small win with deep gratitude, but do not throw a victory party for a down payment. Keep your mouth closed and keep walking until the full manifestation arrives. The second trap is identity confusion. Right as the breakthrough approaches, something minor is going to break. A sudden, unexpected setback will happen that triggers the exact same feelings of panic you had during your wilderness season. You will suddenly think, wait, maybe I did not pass the test. Maybe I am still cursed. Maybe I made all of this up. That is an illusion. The enemy is trying to trick you into operating from your old, defeated identity instead of your new, upgraded frequency. When this happens, you must literally laugh at the circumstance. You must declare internally that you are believing the divine verdict, not a temporary fluctuation in your environment. The third trap is the relationship test. Someone from your past who drained you is going to suddenly reach out just to check on you. Or a brand new person will abruptly enter your life who seems absolutely perfect on paper. There will be intense, instant chemistry. Listen to me. If your spirit did not warn you about this person before they appeared, it is a counterfeit sent to derail your focus. The enemy targets your loneliness because you are emotionally vulnerable. You must slow down, enforce a boundary and see how they react. If they respect it, they might be sent by the divine. If they pressure you, it is a trap. To survive these 3 traps, you need the peace described in ancient texts, a peace that transcends all understanding. In the original Greek, the word for guard is phrorio. It is a military term. It means a heavily armed soldier standing watch at a fortress gate. Heaven is not just giving you a calm feeling. It is deploying a military-grade frequency of peace to stand guard over your brain, protecting you from the enemy's final illusions. If your mind is whispering that this sounds too good to be true, I need you to hear the testimony of 2 other chosen ones who applied this exact invisible obedience protocol and frequency shift. Exactly 9 months ago, there was someone sitting exactly where you are right now. They were exhausted. They had a divine vision for a business, but they were financially drowning. Instead of panicking, they deleted their social media. They went into absolute strategic silence for 40 days. They restored their mind to the theta frequency and worked in secret. On day 38 of their silence, a company they had never contacted randomly found their hidden website and offered them a massive 6-figure partnership. They were tempted to announce it to the world, but they stayed silent. They worked for 3 more months under the radar, and because they proved they could handle the weight, they were offered another position with a 40% salary increase. They did not chase the blessing. Their frequency attracted it. 2 years ago, another chosen one who had been waiting for a spouse for 7 lonely years met someone who seemed flawlessly perfect, but heaven had not spoken about this person beforehand. Applying the relationship test I just taught you, they told this perfect person that they needed to slow down and enforce a boundary. The person immediately became furious, accused them of playing games, and blocked them everywhere. They were devastated, thinking they ruined their own miracle. 3 months later, they discovered that so-called perfect person was a toxic serial manipulator who had destroyed 3 other relationships that same year. 6 months after dodging that bullet, heaven brought their actual spouse, but this time they were given the name in a dream before they ever met. These are not fairy tales. These are the mathematical results of combining spiritual obedience with a renewed brain frequency. And you are next in line. We are pulling all the threads together now. You know why the delay happened. You know your suffering triggered a heavenly mandate for a massive overpayment. You know you must guard your neural pathways from slipping back into the survival frequency, and you know exactly what the enemy's final 3 traps look like. The ancient scripture says, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life." A crown is not a piece of jewelry. A crown represents governmental authority. You did not just survive a wilderness season. You went through a brutal leadership academy in the spirit realm, and you have officially graduated. This brings us to the final moment. I do not want you to stand up or move your body. Wherever you are right now, whether you are lying in bed or sitting in a car, I want you to perform a mental action. Anchor your physical body heavily into whatever is supporting you. Take a slow, deep breath, and in your mind's eye, visualize a heavy, warm mantle settling directly onto your shoulders. This is an activation. This is a commissioning. Supreme Creator, in the mighty name of the King of Kings, we stand in the Spirit before you right now. We declare that this is a divine marked hour. Heaven is open, and the cloud of witnesses is present. You see the chosen one hearing my voice. You see the silent tears they swallowed at 3 in the morning when panic tried to suffocate them. You know the betrayals they endured and the times they chose forgiveness when they had every right to seek revenge. They did not quit. They are still here, and their invisible obedience has moved your heart. By the authority of the word, I seal this truth into their spirit right now. I seal the invisible obedience protocol. I seal the renewal of their frequency, commanding their mind to hold the frequency of heaven. I bind every spirit of premature celebration, every lie of identity, confusion, and every counterfeit relationship sent to distract them. You will not touch them. I declare that the cycle of poverty, isolation, and delay is officially crushed. I decree that the gates of the massive overpayment are blown wide open. Within the next 40 days, financial doors will unlock, toxic connections will sever, and divine alignments will manifest. What their ancestors could not overcome, they are about to conquer. Every assignment of the enemy against their tomorrow is completely cancelled. Now, chosen one, heaven is asking you a direct question. Will you carry this weight? Will you steward this blessing with wisdom, refusing to let fear sabotage your harvest? If your answer is yes, I need you to mentally scream it in your spirit right now, or type "Yes, I am ready" in the comments below as a digital seal of your commitment. Do it now. Heaven heard that. It is recorded in the books of glory. You are commissioned. You are sent. Go now, chosen one. You are dismissed from your waiting room. You are released from the holding pattern. Walk in it. Own it. And when the enemy tries to remind you of your past trauma, you remind him of your new frequency. Do not say amen yet. Sit in this absolute stillness for 60 seconds. Let the shift settle into your bones. You are free.